Welcome to Candlewick Library. I'm Cheryl. Today I'm sharing the books I got for my birthday this year. I just had my birthday on April Fool's Day, and so of course I got a lot of books. I probably won't be getting too many other books in the month of April, so I thought I would just do a birthday book haul. First, I'm going to share the books I just got on my actual birthday from my little family. The first one is A Lady's Guide to Marvels and Misadventures. This is by Angela Bell, and from everything I've heard about it, it sounds very much like Nutcracker meets Around the World in 80 Days. And I don't usually read the back, but I have on all of these books, so I'm going to share the little blurbs on the back of these ones. When Clara's ex-fiancé begins to spread rumors that her family suffers from hereditary insanity, it's all she can do to protect them from his desperate schemes, society's prejudice, and a lifetime in an asylum. Then Clara's grandfather, Drosselmeyer, brings on an apprentice with a mechanical leg, and all pretense of normalcy takes wing. Theodore Kingsley, a shame-chased vagabond haunted by the war, wants a fresh start from Kingsley Court, and the disappointed father who declared him dead. Upon returning to England, Theodore meets clockmaker Drosselmeyer, who hires him as an apprentice, much to Clara's dismay. When Drosselmeyer spontaneously disappears in his secret flying owl machine, he leaves behind a note for Clara, beseeching her to make her dreams of adventure a reality by joining him on a merry scavenger hunt across Europe. Together, Clara and Theodore set off to follow Drosselmeyer's trail of clues, but they will have to stay one step ahead of a villain who wants the flying machine for himself at any cost. And it says 1860. I've seen it around a lot, and so I'm very interested in reading this. I don't know how soon I'll get to it, but hopefully pretty soon. Next, I got 26 Below by Kimberly Woodhouse. I'm very interested in reading more by her because I've been reading her paleontology books and I've really enjoyed them. This one says, a curse, a killer, a chill in the air, temps are dropping and time is running out. In her new role as Emergency Operations Center Director for Fairbanks, Alaska, Darcy Phillips prevents disasters, but none of her training can prepare her for the terror that's coming. As a cybersecurity specialist, Jason Myers is determined to ferret out any threats to the town he now calls home, and that includes his reckless brother and his eco-terrorist friends. When an old woman's wild prediction, widespread destruction as soon as the Fairbanks temperature falls to 26 below, hits national headlines, neither Darcy nor Jason sees a real risk to anything but tourism. Then the bodies start dropping. Darcy is relying on her experience and intelligence to stop a killer. Jason is relying on God to guide the way, but they'll have to work together to find the truth and prevent their Alaskan town from becoming a city of nightmares. So that sounded pretty good to me, and the fact that I've enjoyed her writing and the faith content in her books so far, the ones that I've read so far, has been so good that I wanted to try another series by her. I got this middle grade book, The Luminous Life of Lucy Landry. This is by Anna Rose Johnson. I don't know too much about this one. This was recommended during middle grade March, and I was pretty interested in what I heard about it. It says, Lucy, a spirited French Ojibwe orphan, is sent to the stormy waters of Lake Superior to live with a mysterious family of lighthouse keepers, and she hopes to find the legendary necklace her father spent his life seeking. So hopefully I'll like this. Sometimes it's iffy with recommendations when it's somebody that you don't know if you read the same things or not, or like the same things or not, but I was just very intrigued by the premise of the story, and then it is a very short book, so hopefully I'll like this one. And then I got A Noble Scheme by Rosanna M. White. So this is book 2 in her Imposter series. I really enjoyed book 1, so I knew that as soon as this came out, I would be getting it. And I don't want to tell the story too much because that would spoil book 1, but it's in book 1, a group of young men and young women in England that are basically private investigators. And so this is just following that story. And then 2 books I talked about in a previous video. One is The Blythes Are Quoted by Lucy Maud Montgomery. And this is the one I mentioned in my TBR video. So this was Lucy Maud Montgomery's last book, and it says that it's the last sequel to Anne of Green Gables series. I think I mentioned I already had the version of this that they put out originally, but they have now put out the original exactly the way she had turned it in. And so I am so excited to read this book and have something new from Lucy Maud Montgomery to read, even though some of it I will have read before. And with how much I have loved Lucy Maud Montgomery since I was 9 years old, I am so surprised that I didn't know about that book until recently. And then the last book is Anne of Green Gables. And yes, another copy of Anne of Green Gables. When I talked about my Sherlock books at the beginning of this year, I talked about getting them from a publisher called Seawolf Press. They are publishing books with their original covers. They usually have this strip at the bottom that says 100th Anniversary Edition, But other than that, it is the original cover. And then they have the original, if there's illustrations in it, they have the original illustrations. And so this is Anne of Green Gables with its original cover. And when I discovered them, I knew that this was something I really wanted to have. And then I have the books from my mom and dad. My mom and I have a birthday tradition, and that is sometime around my birthday, we get together and she treats me to dinner, and we go to Barnes & Noble and she buys books for me. And sometimes I'll purchase some for myself. And then we used to go to the movie theater to watch a movie. Now, most of the time, we just tend to watch something, since usually we have a list of movies that we want to watch and they're already on streaming. So we come back to my house and we bring the dinner back with us most of the time, and we watch a movie together and she'll spend the night. And then we do this again around her birthday, but that time I treat her to dinner and I buy her books. And we still do the movie and everything usually here at my house. And another thing that we started last year is that I bought a ticket to the Answers in Genesis Women's Conference, but it was the streaming version. So we didn't go to Kentucky for it. We just watched it on my TV. Last year, it fell on my birthday weekend, and this year it fell on the weekend after my birthday. So we did the same thing this year that we did last year, which is that she came over and we watched the women's conference during the day, and then at night when they were doing a concert or something, we went out and did our normal activity, and then she spent the night, and then we finished watching it on Saturday. It has been so much fun, and I look forward to this birthday outing every single year. I look forward to doing this with my mom. And I love looking forward. It gives me something to get excited about for her birthday as well, because it's just so much fun for us to get together. One of the things I knew that I was interested in getting is a couple of new versions of some of my Agatha Christie books. My oldest daughter has really gotten into Agatha Christie this month, and one of the books that she wanted to read was And Then There Were None. But this is the version I had. This is my book from 8th grade. It was the very first Agatha Christie book I ever read. I read it for school. So it has my underlinings and my notes from 8th grade in it. Plus the pages are yellowing, and it's a lot harder to read. And so she was not looking forward to reading this, and she kept putting it off. So I thought I should get a new edition of And Then There Were None that will match the rest of my Agatha Christie books. Not all of my Agatha Christie books match, but most of them do. So I did end up picking that up at Barnes & Noble. And I also got Murder on the Orient Express. She has finished both of these now. So it was my birthday present, but my daughter gets to reap the benefits as well, which is normal since she's the other major reader in the family. I think I mentioned on here before that I really wanted to try out Ian Fleming, and I bought Chitty Chitty Bang Bang first, and I did really enjoy Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and so I wanted to try his Bond books. So I got the very first Bond book, Casino Royale, and the last one I had her get for me is again one that my oldest daughter has already read before I have, and that is City Spies. And this is book 5, Mission Manhattan, and she and I have been breezing through the City Spies book. I was going to wait for this one to come out in paperback so that they all matched on the shelf. When we were at Barnes & Noble, I saw it and I just thought, you know what, it doesn't matter. I'm going to get it anyway. So book 5, I haven't read it yet, but my daughter has, and she really liked it. So that was really fun. My mom was so generous, and I'm so excited about the books I was able to get from her and from my family.